Hi, so this is my video about complications I've seen in first stage of labor. And I'm using the vlog option or vlog option instead of writing because I'm recovering from a concussion right now. So this is easier. So I want to share a story. I'm going to assign a different name for this person. And this was actually about an experience I had with a client in recent months who was not seeing the midwife that I precept under. She told me that she had hired a midwife, and turns out she had not hired a midwife, and she hired me as her doula, and we were the only two women there, and then her husband. And it was quite awkward. It was my first experience ever doing that, because I just don't take those kind of clients as a doula, and I hardly ever have time to take doula clients. But my preceptor here, she only takes clients, or she takes clients all year except for in November. And in November, she goes to the Midwifery Wisdom Conference, which is at somewhere different every year. So she takes the whole month off call. So I was able to take dual clients during that time just to earn extra income. And I took this client because she paid really well. She didn't try to like haggle a price or anything like that, which can be a thing for doulas, by the way. But yeah, turns out she goes into labor. The midwife never arrives. And yeah, she had failure to progress. And it was just like a really odd situation. But I had asked her in her prenatal appointments if she had experienced trauma, and she changed the subject. And I kind of thought that was weird, but I didn't push further because I thought if she has, maybe she has, and maybe she just doesn't want to discuss this, and so that's why she's changing the subject. So her labor, she calls me, she says she's in active labor. I get to her home, she's clearly not in active labor. And it was like 24 hours later, finally, we decided to transfer to the hospital. And, well, she did, because I was just her doula, and I recommended that that's what she should do because she was so exhausted. Yeah, we get to the hospital, and they want to check her dilation, and obviously she's not had any dilation check this entire labor because I'm just her doula. Why would I do that? And I could see like on her back, like her purple line was not where it normally is on people, but not everybody I've seen has had the purple line, so I just didn't know, like, I don't know, like, I guess it's not that accurate, or I didn't feel like it was, so I was like, she seems like a little pushy, so I thought maybe she was further than what she was, but hindsight is definitely 20/20, because we get to the hospital and the nurse asks if she can check her dilation, and she's like, no, I don't want to do that, blah, blah, blah. And finally her husband reveals to us that she has had trauma, sexual trauma, and she does not want a vaginal exam. So she ends up consenting to one. It was very traumatic for her. It is probably the most traumatic thing I've ever seen in my life. And yeah, she was only, I think, 6 centimeters dilated, but she probably was more like 7 or 8 at the house, and then probably just reverse dilated, which I know some midwives say is a thing and some say it's not. But reading Varney's for this class, I was reading more about emotional dystocia and how that can slow progress in labor, and I definitely think that's what she had. Like, her brain couldn't click over to be like, oh, I feel out of control right now, but that's okay because I chose this. She had to scream and flail and act like she was dying at home, to where I believed her and maybe something was wrong. and we ended up getting to the hospital, and actually there's absolutely nothing wrong. It's just that this person is a trauma survivor, and they are very, traumatized by this life event that's happening through their body that they can't control. So yeah, that was definitely probably the only emotional dystocia I've ever seen. But like, I didn't know it when it was happening. Like, I thought like there was a malposition or something, because like I had never palpated this person or anything, and they had never had that done their entire pregnancy, come to find out. So it was just a very weird situation. But I chose to share that one because like, I've seen some other emotional dystocias, like, but it's mainly like fear of the pain like coming, like not as much, like true emotions like associated with that. So yeah, that's my experience. Thank you.